Sacramento Kings fans are outraged, and rightly so. Their guy, DeAaron Fox, my guy, DeAaron Fox, is getting absolutely no respect in the MVP race this NBA season, even though he is off to his best start of his career. Not just a good start for him, but a very, very good start for anybody. Averaging over 30 points a game, almost a career high in assists, almost a career high in steals, adding a three-point shot. Why is DeAaron Fox getting no respect? Well, let's get into that. Welcome back in, ERB Sports fans. If you're new to this channel, if you found this video, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for all your support. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. It's going to take a while, but we're going to keep grinding. We're going to talk about DeAaron Fox in this video. We have got three of my favorite DeAaron Fox cards. The purple color match optic rated rookie. It doesn't get any better than that. I know there's a prism purple. Yes, I probably should have a copy of the prism purple, but I don't. I've got multiple copies of the optic though. And at the National this year, I picked up the very purple edition of the Rookie Kings insert color match as well. So I hope DeAaron Fox plays his entire career in Sacramento. In fact, I still think in the long run, the cream will rise to the top. So where am I going with this video for DeAaron Fox? Well, a couple of publications came out recently where DeAaron Fox wasn't even rated in the top 10 in the MVP voting race. I guess if you would call that the media more or less is saying that. And a lot of people in the Kings community, I tune into Matt George on the Locked On Kings podcast pretty much every day. Start my day here in Indiana. I live in Indiana, right? And I listen to Locked On Kings. That just goes to show you how much of a Kings fan I am. But when I listened to his recent podcast with Damian Barling, D'Lo and KC co-host yesterday, he happened to talk about why is DeAaron Fox getting no respect. And I wanted to make a follow-up video to that and give you guys my own thoughts. For what it's worth, I'm not in the sports media. I'm just a guy who opens cards on YouTube, watches a lot of basketball, the eye test matters, and try to pay attention to what goes on in the betting markets as well. So that's where I'm going with this video. Since DeAaron Fox didn't get any respect in that article, in fact, wasn't even in the top 10, many are saying, oh my gosh, how in the world can that be possible? The guy's having the best year of his career, probably one of the best years, not ever, but a very, very good year relative to the field. And it got me thinking. In my channel, we do some betting videos occasionally, and I looked at the odds markets, and it would tell a slightly different story. And so I'm going to give Kings fans a little glimmer of hope and tell you what I think will matter most when it comes to gaining DeAaron Fox a little bit more respect when it comes to MVP voting. So up here on my DraftKings app, I've got the betting market for regular season MVP. Now, no brainer. Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, 1 and 2. Plus 175, plus 275. Almost even money on Joel Embiid and like 3-1 on Nikola Jokic. He's a multi-time MVP. He just won the MVP last year. And you scroll down, you got Luka Doncic at 6.5-1. SGA at 8-1. Giannis at 11-1. Giannis, he's had a couple MVPs. Really, really good season on Giannis's board right now. He's pretty healthy. We got Dame on the team now, so he doesn't have to do as much as he used to, and he's already kind of won it, so it's kind of a been there, done that sort of thing. And you got the up-and-comer, Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana, my home state of Indiana. In fact, I work literally right next to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I literally drive by it every single day on my way to work and on my way home. And he's a former King, so you think I'd be a Halliburton fan. I'm not a hater of Halliburton. I do like him. He does shoot pretty well from three. He's a great distributor of the basketball. He's a really good player from my home state of Wisconsin. I think he's from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And he went to my alma mater when I did my grad school at Iowa State. So I have a lot of connection to Tyrese Halliburton. Why don't I like him more? That's a really interesting question. I mean, I do like him. I just don't love him as a player. Then you got Jason Tatum. Now, Jason Tatum drafted in the same class as DeAaron Fox, and I give Neo Cards and Comics crap all the time for his take on the 2017-2018 draft class and says, that's the draft class that brought us Tatum and Mitchell. And I said, you got to start mentioning Fox in that conversation. You have to. How could you not? I mean, look at this. Betting odds. Jason Tatum, 25-1. You got to go all the way down to 151 for Donovan Mitchell. So he's well outside the top 10. Now, I didn't read the article up on ESPN.com or wherever it was posted where DeAaron Fox was not in the top 10, but I know there were a couple names mentioned that were ahead of DeAaron Fox, and it was like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, LeBron James, AD, maybe even Anthony Edwards. And then you got DeAaron Fox. Well, the betting market says a different story. DeAaron Fox is the 8th player overall in betting, tied with Kevin Durant for 8th, ahead of Devin Booker, ahead of Steph Curry, ahead of Anthony Edwards, ahead of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So if people are willing to put their money on players in the general public sense, would it not make sense to view this as a more appropriate barometer when it comes to where De'Aaron Fox sits on the MVP ladder? He's not that far behind the betting odds of Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum. And he's tied with Kevin Durant. So arguably he could creep into the top 6 at some point here in the near future. What's going to happen with the Pacers? It's sort of a, what have you done for me lately? Now, this is a team that is still on the rise. They did make it all the way to the final game of the in-season tournament, which was sort of a surprise. I don't think many people predicted that. Jason Tatum didn't even play the other night when they played the Kings, and the Kings absolutely got destroyed by the Boston Celtics. Now, we'll get into that in a bit. I think that's largely a reason why De'Aaron Fox hasn't gotten a great amount of respect when it comes to MVP race. Had Tatum played in that game, Fox and Tatum would have gone head-to-head, and it would have given them a chance to outshow who is more worthy of being considered for an MVP. Now, the hype around De'Aaron Fox started when he didn't play for those 5 games, when he had the sprained ankle, and the Kings were absolutely dreadful. And then De'Aaron Fox came back, and all they did is win. Now, he's been back every game since then. In fact, I think, actually, I take that back. He's missed 1 or 2 games because of a shoulder issue or just a minor issue. And the Kings have now won a little bit without him, and they've lost a little bit with him. So what do I think it's going to take for De'Aaron Fox to get the consideration and respect that I think he deserves? Well, one thing is, last year, if you look at his highlights, he was a great finisher at the rim with explosive dunks, just posterizing players. We haven't really seen that much this year. Now, they could be playing him different, or he could be playing different. He's taking a lot more outside shots than he did ever in his career. His free throw percentage is probably below average, but making more threes, taking more threes, putting him on the same level, I'm not saying as a Steph Curry, but he's taking about 8.5 threes a game. And the other night, he started so hot from 3, it looked like the guy couldn't miss. The only people in the league who really get the credit for that sort of play are Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic, and maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I also probably throw Tyrese Halliburton in there. Fair enough. They shoot well from 3. De'Aaron Fox hasn't historically shot well from 3. Historically, he's been a below-average three-point shooter, and he's been a great finisher at the rim, with thunderous dunks and posterizing players, as I said. So if De'Aaron Fox wants to have a chance at the MVP, I think he's got to start having posterizing dunks again. The things that catch highlights, that get people to chatter more. That's one thing. The other thing is the Kings got blown out the other night by the Boston Celtics. Now, it was close in the first quarter. It was close through most of the second quarter, but the moment the third quarter came out of the locker room, the adjustments were made, and the Kings got absolutely wiped off the floor. De'Aaron Fox was out of the game. He never even played in the fourth quarter. So that's a problem. if the Kings want respect and DeAaron Fox wants respect and the Kings fans want respect for DeAaron Fox, he has got to start playing better. Not that he doesn't play better in the second half, but the team has to start playing better against tough teams in the second half. They can't have these mental lapses like we've seen against the Clippers, the Pelicans, now the Celtics. The teams that they've lost against multiple times, we'll throw the Rockets out. They didn't beat the Rockets because they didn't have Fox. And the Warriors. And it just sort of builds after a time. Now, they have beat the Thunder multiple times. They beat the defending champs. They beat the Phoenix Suns. Now, they get another crack at the Phoenix Suns tonight. And we'll see what happens in that one. But if DeAaron Fox wants to be considered a top MVP candidate, he's got to do two things, in my opinion. One, he's got to start posterizing people again, like he did last year and every year for his career. Two, they've got to start winning big games. And stop getting blown out. The cream will rise to the top. He's only 26. He's not yet ascended to his quote-unquote true prime. I mean, that's probably like 27 to 30 is considered like true prime. But he's right there. And so now is the time. My advice to him and to anybody out there who wants to root for DeAaron Fox is tell him to keep his head down. Tell him to keep focusing on the details. Tell him to keep being coached well by Mike Brown. And the rest will take care of itself. If the team is good, the cream will rise to the top. If the team is not good, he'll continue to get less respect than he deserves until maybe he gets traded to another team, in which case I wouldn't have a color match here anymore, would I? But that's neither here nor there. I hope he never goes to another team. He is a very fun player to watch, my favorite player to watch in the NBA right now. And so there you go, guys. That is my thoughts on why DeAaron Fox isn't getting the credit he deserves, but the public would say something different, and I think with a couple little tweaks, he could creep into the top 5. And we'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.